Let's make this interesting looking support fixture in inches using Autodesk Inventor. So here is Autodesk. Let me, I guess, get these to about the same size. Locking in right there. And then check out the dimensions here, maybe just a little bit over so I can see some more. Let's start the new part. So this is going to be in inches, and we're going to create that, maybe scale back a little bit to be able to get that whole thing in there. And we'll start our three-dimensional object by making a two-dimensional sketch. Now, to me, it seems like you would want to start on this part that works on that matches with the wall or mounts to the wall rather, and then you can extrude this piece out from there. That seems like the logical way to go. So I'm going to try that, and I am going to actually try to extrude it into the background so that the isometric view looks just like this one. How about we start with a slot, because that's what that looks like right there. And remember, the slot is under the rectangle tool. And I think we're going to be doing probably a 2-point slot. This one's a center slot. You may or may not have that one. See, I have a midpoint line. Just grab one of the types of slots here. Probably not the arc one, but maybe this one right here. So I'm going to click here, go out to this distance here, which needs to be about 3.5. And then from there, you can go out. Uh-oh, looks like it's not making it in the midpoint like I expected. So let's start that over again. I thought it said midpoint, right? Center to center. Okay, so I misread that. That's okay. Just start over here somewhere. Once you get the tool selected, and then we can put the midpoint over here a little bit later. So go out like that. And let's go ahead and take this midpoint and make it at the origin. So this one and that one need to be coincident. Wonder why that's not working. Finally did. And the dimension of this one needs to be, let's see, looks like the radius needs to be 1.5 inches. I made it too big, of course, but then we can just zoom back like so. And of course, we want to get the uh, focus point to focus point. It's right there to that one. I call it focus point because it kind of reminds me of an ellipse in a way, although probably not the right word for this one. We want to reduce the number of digits that are being placed. So we're going to go down here and reduce it down to 2. And hopefully we have a fully defined part. Sure. And then we need a diameter. Okay, that kind of threw me off a little bit. This one's radius and the other one's diameter. So going back over to the sketch, and I'm just go ahead and try to type that in 1.5. And now it fully defined that for us. And we want another one over here, of course. And 1.5 before I do the second click gives me the dimension already there. Now, if you don't like having the 2 dimensions, what you can do is hit escape, delete one of these, because it's maybe a little bit overkill, and then you just say that these are equal. And so those are the kind of assumptions that you make when you're doing a drawing. So I'm going to try to make it look like it is right over there. Pull this one in over here. I guess I go all the way over there, but let's just leave it here. All right, what else do we have? How about some depth to this? And it looks a little bit kind of tricky to get here. So this looks like it goes to the front face like that. And let's see, do we have a width on this one? Let's take a closer look at that. Okay, and then you see that it's 1 inch. So let's go ahead and extrude our shape. I guess it doesn't really matter which way we go. Why not just forward? The default is 1 inch. And now we can start drawing on the back side. So it looks to me like this piece right here, almost kind of want to orbit around to see it. I don't think that it's matching up with that, although I guess maybe it is. It doesn't really show that it's going down to the middle of this. This line maybe is not part of the feature, but maybe a dimension line. So we can kind of make that assumption. And then if we're incorrect, we can go from there. So how about we draw on this face first? And then we'll just go on the upper right-hand side of this. And so we'll start with a rectangle, 2-point rectangle, and purposely make it off-centered. And then what you can do is come in here, hit escape, find that center by using the concentric tool. And we really want it on that axis, although it doesn't look like it's going to do that for us. Well, when that fails, what you can do is just force there to be a center line through the middle, which is going to be your construction line. Then you can take the midpoints or the midpoint of this one and make it concentric. I'm sorry, not concentric, but coincident with it. And of course, the reason I'm laughing is because it moved the center line off to the side. So then we just say, well, we want this to be the case there. So now we have it. We could do some symmetry. We really haven't used this tool very much at all. But if you click this one, and then this one, and then the middle, it's going to make those concentric, I'm sorry, not concentric, symmetric, but it looks like in the process of making that the midpoint, we already made that happen. All right, so what about the width of this right here? If we look at this radius, is that going to tell us this radius of the outer one looks to be 4, well, diameter is 4 inches. So I think that's going to be also our dimension right here. And I got pretty close on that. And then we need to get the depth of this right over here. I'll put it kind of close. I imagine it would be 1 inch. Yep. All right. And then go around like so. Now we need to have this come out and then go up. So to me, it seems like we'd almost want to do like a drawing on this plane through the middle and then extrude it in and out. So we might try to do that kind of approach and see if that's going to work for us. Because it does give us the radius of these 2 arcs here. Let's see if that's going to be the case. So let's go over here to the isometric view. And well, I guess maybe we need to orbit around over this way. But we're looking for this plane that we can draw on that's on the side. So you kind of go over here to the origin rather. And then you want to find the plane that cuts it like the YZ plane, like that. And then what you want to do is start drawing on that plane. Now, it could be that we can also grab that plane and then make it a little bit bigger. I was hoping I could do that anyway. Right click and let's make it visible. And then we're going to start drawing on that surface. Let's see if we can go like that. And then say we need to, oh, it says I'm not finished with the previous sketch. So let's finish that one. We can start on this working plane. And the working plane turns out to be our YZ plane. That does not look exactly like what I was going for, really. Let's look at these other planes. Yeah, okay, it's this plane here. Now I want to draw on that surface. Let me exit up here and see if I actually did that right. Yeah, I want to draw on this plane. So right click here and say new sketch. Okay, that's much better. Okay, I'm not sure what I did before. Let's see if there's a way that I can make this bigger. Maybe grab the yellow, make it a little bit bigger. And so we're going to do, well, that didn't seem to work at all. Maybe it'll start to grow once I start to draw something on there. And that's really what I want to do. I want to make a shape that starts up here at the top, right here. And then we'll put the radius of curvature in there next, but we'll go up like this. And then we'll go up here, go over a bit, back down. Oh, look at that. It resized properly. And then come down to here, and then back over to here. Now we got to get all these dimensions made properly. If we look from the front side of this, right here to the front side of that one, is that the way it's going to be read here? Yeah, so it seems like from here to there. So from right there to right here, it looks like it's given us that dimension to be 2.25. See what I'm talking about there? That front plane to front plane view. We haven't done the extrude yet. We know this right here is going to be 1 inch in thickness. And how about how tall this is going to be? Well, to the center point, it's going to be 5 inches, but then we need to add on an extra 2 inches because of the 4-inch diameter. So we're going to say that that's 7. let you just review that on your own to see if you agree with me on that one. And then it looks like it kind of made a mess of things. Make sure I did that right. Going from here to the midpoint is 5, and then going all the way up to the top would make it 7. Now we know that this purple one is way out of place. It needs to be way down here to make that L shape. We also know that it needs to meet up with that one right there. But to make all that happen, all we really got to do here is just measure the distance between these two and probably call that 1 inch as well, I would imagine. Right, so that matches up pretty well. And so I guess this is something we could extrude and then put the fillets in here, but why not just put fillets in ahead of time? So let's go over here to the drawing fillet and go to this corner here and say I want that one to be 0.5 on the radius. So right here, 0.5 on the radius. Hopefully it did that. I'm not really sure if it did or not. We can go take the right view like that. And then it just doesn't look like that's the right radius. So I don't really know why it's pointing right there. So let's change this radius right here of this thing right here. Guess we got to get it really close now. That's the angle. That's the angle. That's not really what we want either. That's what we're looking for right there. And we want that one to be 0.5. Much better. And then this other one is going to be for this drawing fillet, that corner needs to be a more of a curvature. So we're going to put 1.5 in that one. Okay, now if I hit enter, does it, see, for some reason it didn't accept it. Maybe I have to hit the done button when I do that. I'm gonna hit the green check mark for that one. It looks really good. At this point, we began to make our extrude. It almost looks like it's, out of alignment, but let's keep going, kind of trust our process to see if it's going to work. We need to extrude some thickness or some depth to it. And now that I think about it, I'm just going to extrude it to this place right here because the rest of this is curved. So I'm going to double click on this one and change that to 5. So that way it just goes to this point right here. Now the thickness of this, we've already kind of determined, let's see, from there to there, it needs to be 4. All right, so what we're going to do is do an extrude, and we're going to go 2 inches one way and 2 inches the other way. We're going to go for this shape right here, and we're going to go both directions. And I think the thing is that if you type in 4 right here, yeah, it automatically knows to do 2 one direction and 2 the other direction. Let's see if this looks reasonable. Looks pretty good. Now we can hide our plane that we were using temporarily, like so. And it's looking pretty good. Okay, now that sketch that we put here on the front, I don't even think that we need that anymore. This one right here. Let's see what happens if we delete that one. It shows where it met up, but we found another way to achieve it. So let's see if we can delete that one. There it is. And now you can see those numbers disappeared. So I'm not really seeing that line right there, but I just think that that's probably a dimension line and not really actually a crease or a cleave, or I guess scarf, or whatever you want to call it. Scarp, okay, from the surface of Mercury. All right, let's go back over here, and looks like our final steps are just to put this circle arch over the top, extrude it out a distance of 2 inches, and put a hole through it. So I think I want to draw on this surface and then extrude backwards. So I think it's this one right here, which is create new sketch. And we want to pull down, middle mouse wheel, pressing down, midpoint on this one, and then click to the edge. All right, then we can extrude that outward. I kind of like the trick that y'all were showing me in class, though. We could put another circle inside of this and make this one 2. So I'm going to type in 2 before I hit the second click. And now let's see if we can do one of those tricks that y'all showed me in class, and that is do 2 extrudes at one time. So first of all, you do this extrude on the outside, And it needs to be this one, and it needs to go the other direction, and it only needs to go a distance of 2 inches, not 4. Okay, now before I hit enter though, I want to say, I want to do another one, but I want it, oops, that didn't seem like it worked. We want this one right here, this one right here, this one right here to be a cut into the paper like so. Now, will it do both of them at the same time? It seemed like it only recognized the cut. So this one, I think, is a cut. Let's come back to this one and say edit feature. And I guess it thought that I was doing a cut. Is that what we're looking for? Because this one right here is an extrude. This one right here is a cut. And now we have achieved what we're looking for. I'm going to go back to this view and I'm going to have to stare at this for a minute because this looks shorter and it looks like I have something longer right here. So let me just see. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Okay. So I assumed that this 5 inches was from the top surface right there. But really you can see it's from the middle of this part all the way up to the middle of that one. That means that we need to take off, let's see, if the radius of that one, we need to subtract off, I guess 0.75, is that right? To get to that height? Is there another way to mark that distance? So let's go to that side view where we were doing that sketch, probably right here. Yeah, probably this one here. Let's edit this sketch and see if we can somehow change this distance from 5 here to 5 over here. So let's delete this unit right here. And the lesson learned here is that if it doesn't look symmetric, then take a look at your numbers and verify that you measured everything properly. So now this one right here is the one that needs to be 5. We roll all of those changes forward, and now it definitely looks a lot closer to what we see in the picture. Now you can start to roll your annotations forward like this, promote them to the front for all of your extrusions like this, and pull them forward. And then I've also learned that if you go over here to annotations, you can click through these and just kind of remove the ones that you don't want. You can see that it's nicely putting the 5 there that we had over here. So try to achieve the same dimensions. You know what? It looks like we can take off the angular dimensions. So if we take that one, delete it, or is that just, I'm not sure if it was hiding it or not. So let's say invisible. Maybe that's the quick way to do it, is to go into the angular ones and say visibility off. And then leave all the other ones on, because these angular ones are not really applying to this particular problem. All right, work on the dimensions and make sure that you can see all of these before you turn it in. And we're going to save this part right here as part number 5.6. All right, I will see you in the next video.